Hi everyone and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, on Ravelry and Leading Men Fiber Arts on Instagram. This is episode 388. Today is Monday, March 21st, 2022. And thank you so much for joining me this episode. If you're new, I hope you enjoy what you see. And if you're returning, welcome back and thanks for tuning in for one more episode. So it's been about 3 weeks since I've recorded last, but I finally have some progress to show and some yarny goodness and a few other things to chat about. So I thought I would drop in and check in with you all. I hope you are doing well. I am, knock on wood, better from our last episode when I had the crud, the cold, whatever was going around. It seems like everybody I know has had it. I'm better. So we're good there. Thank you for all the warm wishes and the well wishes of getting over it rather quickly. It stuck around for a little bit, but I persevered. So anyway, so what's been going on in the last 2 weeks? We have gone to Iowa and Wisconsin for two different fiber events. Let's see. 2 weekends ago, we were in Amana, Iowa for Shepherd's Market, and that was hosted at the Amana Woolen Mill. It's a beautiful location. Unfortunately, it's our last year there as prices have risen to rent that venue, so they are in search for a new location for next year. But I believe this is the fifth year we've done it, and I had to drop out 1 year because I got a kidney stone the day before, or a couple days before, and it still hadn't passed. So I think this is one of our longest running shows we've done, but it was a great show, and thank you to everyone who came out and said hi. And then last weekend, we were in Madison, Wisconsin for the Madison Knitters Guild Knit-In, and it was a much different show than in the past. There was a lot less activities due to COVID protocol and a lot less vendors. But if you came out, thank you so much for supporting us. And it was good to see some fiber friends, fellow vendors, and as well as meeting customers and other guild attendees. So we had this weekend off. We actually took yesterday off. I did a little bit of house cleaning. I took a nap, which is my prerequisite for a Sunday afternoon when I take the day off. We worked this morning and into this afternoon, and I'm here chatting with you all before I sit and relax and craft for the evening. So, other than that, nothing much really big going on around here, just getting into the swing of things with show season. We have another event next weekend back in Iowa, which I'll talk about later on in the show, but yeah, so that's pretty much been about it for my 3 weeks. Not a whole lot of progress. I've been fairly exhausted when I get home. We've been dyeing a lot of yarn, which is always good. There's tons of yarn in the online shop, as well as a lot of goodies, which again, I'll be showing some of those later. And as always, you can check out our shop at leadingmenfiberarts.com. And So anyway, let's get right into the knitting. What's taking about? I am wearing my finished object. So this is the Shawl's Well That Ends Well, designed by the owner of Yaya Black Sheep, which is a local yarn store, I believe in North or South Carolina. I could be wrong. It is not on Ravelry, unfortunately, but it did come with a nice printed out pattern, and it was kind of a design it as you go. You got stitch patterns and a deck of cards, and depending on which card you pulled from the deck, decided on your stitch pattern and your color choice. We were doing this as a knit along for our Create and Collaborate Club at the Leading Men store, and we have one more meeting, but I am done with mine. And then we go on to our next Create and Collaborate Club. But yeah, it's a biased wrap, and so it has a bunch of different stitch patterns in here. Some of them I never even got to. They were never pulled. There's a mosaic Greek key colorwork section. I never got to that, and by the time I was 2/3 of the way done with it, I was like, it's going to look really odd if I stick it in here, so I decided even if I pulled it, I wasn't going to knit it, but I never did pull it. So Yeah, it's a nice sized. I use 3 skeins of Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in the Perfection Sweet Cheeks and Spring Thaw colorway using a size 6 US, which is a 4mm needle. And I will take it off to show you. So, trying to remember what side I started with. I think I started over here and we had like some basket weave, I think, and then some half linen stitch, some garter stripes, some more basket weave, some more garter stripes. I'm showing you the wrong side. That's always helpful. I forgot what this was called, the bee stitch or something, an eyelet garter stripe. More half linen. I had a lot of half linen. More bee stripes, garter, open eyelets, biased ribbing, more open eyelets, more linen stitch, more garter, and then the ending. So she's a biggin. We will have a couple of kits. I have about 3 remaining booklet patterns left. So I will kit this up here shortly and they will be available in the shop. But yeah, it came out to a decent size. So enjoyed that. It blocked out nicely as Showstopper always does. I wove in my ends as I was knitting. I knit them in. So it was really easy to just block it and trim the ends when it was done. Didn't do any fancy blocking. I never do. I just wet it and kind of zhuzh it until it looks good on my blocking mat. And yeah, so that's done. I'm happy with that. All right. What have I been working on then? So first up for me, I'm not going to show you my crochet blanket as I only added like 1 or 2 rows onto that. So let's talk about the Shaded Chevrons baby blanket designed by Yarnspirations Design Studio. I'm using 2 skeins of Serdar Jewel Spun in the Setting Sun and Midnight Fjords colorway using a size 8 US, which is a 5mm needle. And I am so close to being done. This is all I have left. So hopefully I'll have another podcast out in 2 weeks to show you this. But I have been putting some work into it. So you can see there where the little taco progress keeper is. That's where I was before. You can see all that I've done there. And I really like it. It's something different. It's not typical baby colors. It's kind of fun. So that's where that's going. Nothing really exciting to report other than I'm still working on it. So, but that should be done soon. I've already picked my next project once that's done. And I was spending a good deal of time before I sat down to record to figure that out, but I will show you that here in just a moment. Next up are my Doubletree socks. I'm knitting this using Fibernymph Dye Works Bounce Base in the Doubletree colorway, along with Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper Mini Skein in the Imperfection colorway that I'm using for cuffs, heels, and toes. And I'm knitting this on a size 1 2.25mm needle. And I finished the first sock and started the second. So, here's the first sock, heel included, all the ends woven in. These are going to be for me. And I have started the second sock. I'm about halfway down the leg or so. And I do knit mine using 2 circulars. And I do approximately 10 rounds of a 2x2 rib using the contrast color, and then I knit about 70 more rounds down the leg, put in my waist yarn for my afterthought heel, then I knit 80 rounds down the foot for my size 10.5 men's shoe size, and then I do a rounded toe, which is where you decrease, knit 3, decrease, knit 2, decrease, knit 1, and then decrease every round. And then I do the same thing for my heel, except I knit 4 rounds plain, picking up extra stitches in the corners so that there are no holes, and just go that way. So those are going. Those will get worked on tonight. And then I did remember to bring you my project that I'm working on at the studio while I have some downtime. And that is a new shop sample that I'm knitting using our Dramaturg DK base. And I'm knitting the Painting Honeycombs scarf by Stephen West. And I'm using, again, the Dramaturg base in Darkest Hour, Heirloom, Tranquil, and Lilac and Relax. And I am loving this project. It is really good for the studio knitting because I can pick it up and put it down often enough that it's not, because it's a scarf, it's not, you know, there's color changes, but there's nothing really like exciting going on. And you could get bored easily. It is a dense scarf. This is DK knit on a size 6, which is a 4mm needle. And so it's going to be a heavy scarf, but here is where I am. So you can see the bottom there. That'll be blacked out. And I'm about halfway through the scarf at this point. So it's kind of fun. It's knit on the bias, and it's going pretty well. Again, I am knitting in my ends because you do have to break all your colors, and it is kind of a cool backside as well. Not very finished, but does look really cool. So I'm working on this as a shop sample. And that's going swimmingly. No mistakes. Knock on wood. And I just started my second ball of Darkest Hour, which is the black. You need 2 skeins of DK for the main color and 1 skein of 3 contrasting colors. So it's a 5 skein scarf. And that's all my knitting that I've been working on over the past 3 weeks. Let's move into in rehearsal. What am I going to be casting on? So since that baby blanket is almost done, I did use a random number generator on my stash, and it selected for me a skein of Western Sky Knits Smooth Sock in the Nightfall colorway. Andy picked this up for me at Estes Park Wool Market in Colorado, where we will be returning. Actually, I'm not going this year. Andy is going with his mom. They're going to make a little vacation trip out of it in June. And so we picked this up from Western Sky Knits. It's a beautifully variegated speckled color. And I was not finding anything I really loved. I did not have a pattern attached to this that uses only 1 skein. So I looked through some of my bits and bobs, and I found this skein of Moonlight on our intermission base. I have a feeling it's a short skein, so I'm going to need to weigh it to get the approximate yardage. But I am going to do the Sheila by D. O'Keefe. It is a shawl pattern using these 2 together. So this is going to be used for a bunch of garter stitch sections. There's 2 little stripe sections and then a lace section in this. And I think it's going to be really, really pretty. So I'm going to take those to work to get those wound up and print off the pattern. I already purchased it so that I can start on that when I finish the baby blanket. All right, behind the scenes, my spinning. I am still spinning some 70% merino, 30% silk from the fold that I picked up many, many years ago. It was 8 ounces in a rose colorway. I do have the first 4 ounces spun up here, and I'm working on the second 4 ounces, getting closer to finishing, but haven't been doing a whole lot of other crafting other than knitting. So that's going. In the scene shop, moving on into what's going on in my other crafting as well. My cross stitch has not seen a whole lot of love, but I will show you what progress I have made. This is the Modern Folk Embroidery 2021 stitch along called Fruits O' Plenty. And this was about February section, and I'm into Marches now. And so, you know, just a year behind. So that's going when I get the time to work on it. And that is being stitched 2/2 using 2 colors of blue DMC on a 32 count Belfast linen from Picture This Plus in the Tyco colorway. And then last but not least, let me show you my latch hook project. This is Fox in the Moonlight, a kit from Hirschner's, and that's where I'm at. So we're getting there, folks. The moon's coming in behind its head. And yeah. So that's what's been going on in my other crafting. Little progress, but each stitch, each latch, everything counts, right? All right. Let's talk about In the Spotlight. We have been watching so much TV and movies, as you do, as I do. And I finished listening to a book. So first up, I watched Inventing Anna. This is about a dramatization of the real life story of Anna Sorokin, who is she pretends to be a German heiress, but she's really German from Russia, and comes to the US and pretty much swindles people out of money to try to amass her own fortune and company. And eventually she gets caught for fraud. Andy and I also finished watching Only Murders in the Building. This is on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu. It stars Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez. I will admit Selena Gomez gets on my nerves. I don't think she can act very well, and the tone of her voice was slightly irking on me. But it definitely did get better as things progressed, and I know they're filming season 2, so we'll probably watch that. We also finished RuPaul's Drag Race Season 10 and All Stars 3. It's kind of our go-to show because it's very mindless, and especially when I have late nights at the store with knitting and things, I come home and I only have an hour and I don't want to invest in a drama, so RuPaul it is. Speaking of dramas, we finished Ozark Season 2. We also watched Righteous Gemstones Season 2. And movies, we watched Scream 5. It actually was relatively enjoyable. We watched Fresh the other night. This is on Hulu. It is a bit much. It basically is about a woman who's out dating, trying to find, someone, and she meets who she thinks is a really nice guy, and things then take a turn, and he is not who you think he is. It is rather graphic and gory, so I will warn you of that. But it's an interesting take on that genre of film, so we thought it was pretty good. I then watched yesterday The Adam Project. This is on Netflix. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Jennifer Gardner, Mark Ruffalo, and basically Ryan Reynolds comes back from the future, time traveling, in order to save the future, and he meets his young self and blah, 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 blah. It's a family feel-good kind of sci-fi movie. But I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And then, I thought we watched something else, but I guess not. I finished listening to The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. He's written some other books that I've enjoyed, like The Lightning Struck Heart. This does deal with male-male romance. However, that is not the focus of this book as it can be in some of his other books. This book is about a gentleman who is basically an auditor for orphanages of magical youth. So magic is known to be in the world, but they are basically second-class citizens, and magical youth have to be sent to orphanages in order to monitor and maintain their powers. And so he goes from orphanage to orphanage, auditing these orphanages in order to decide whether they should remain open, if anything needs to happen, things like that. And he gets sent to this orphanage in the Cerulean Sea. And basically over a stay there, it's like the, top level kids they're worried about. He pretty much realizes how how the system is broken, and he endures friendships and relationships with these kids, as well as the master of the orphanage and their story and things like that. It's a good book. It is not the most riveting or action-packed book, but it's a different way of looking at societal roles and the way that we classify people. So definitely check that out. And that's it for what we're watching and reading. Let's move into stash enhancement. I did get my last fiber shipment from Hello Yarn. This was from February 2022. This is 23 micron Targi top in the Beastly Behavior colorway. So there's that. I also might have jumped on a Woolens and Nosh update and picked up a skein of her self-striping superwash Targi nylon. And this is in the colorway Frog and Toad, so it comes with a mini skein for the cuffs, heels, and toes. And I just screamed me, so picked that up. And then while I was at the Madison Knitters Guild Knit-In, Sun Valley was just down the aisle from us. And I have been looking at this mini skein set, which really it's a jumbo mini skein set, for about 3 years. And the 1 year I decided to pull the trigger, they sold out of it because of the sample. Well, she didn't have the sample with her, but she knew exactly what project I was talking about. So this is the set. It is a 6 skein set of 130 yards mini skeins, a total of 780 yards. And it doesn't have like a group set. It's Coral, Etude, Percy, Whisper, Onx, and Dijon. And this is going to be knit into the Tortuga Shawl by Amba O'Brien. So I picked that up from Sun Valley. So that's all the stash enhancement this episode. I've been trying to be good, but every once in a while you gotta treat yourself. I also did purchase a Fat Squirrel Fibers bag, but I gifted it to my sister. It was bought with her in mind for a new project that my sister's gonna be casting on. So it was a Charlie Harper design with a cow and 2 birds, but it didn't scream cow. My sister likes cows, but she's one of those people, like a lot of us, when people find out you have that thing you like, everybody wants to get you everything like that. So I figured, since this was an over-the-top cow project bag, anyway, she liked it. So hopefully she'll use it for her new project. She's going to join our next Create and Collaborate Club. So I'm hoping she'll use it. All right. Next up, let's do a giveaway for this episode. As always, our giveaways are on Ravelry. If you leave comments on YouTube, unfortunately, you are not entered, but you would go to the Dramatic Knits video podcast group and go to the appropriate thread. This will be the Canon Hand Dyes sock set giveaway. And you must answer the prompt in that thread, and you can only post once, and you must be a member of the group. So this episode, we are giving away this sock set generously donated to the podcast by a viewer from Canon Hand Dyes in the Pinstripes colorway. I do not know whether it is self-striping or not, but you'll find out. So to be entered to win this, you again must be a member of the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group. Go on over to the appropriate thread and answer the prompt. This episode's prompt is, what's the best type of cheese? I want to know. Are you a funky monkey kind of cheesy person, like blue cheese and the stankier the better? Or are you like me and mild and not too experimental? I like mozzarella. I like provolone. You can put some cheddar on some stuff. American has its place sometimes. Feta can be okay in a few things. Kobe Jack is good. Like good Kobe cheese stick. So anyway, what's the best type of cheese? And leave your answer in the Ravelry group and you'll be entered to win this. And I will use a random number generator to draw for a winner next episode. So moving right along, last episode our giveaway was for 2 skeins of Cascade 220 in the white colorway. And the prompt was toilet paper, over or under. And I was so happy to see that the overwhelming consensus was over, which is the right way, which is how toilet paper was patented, or the toilet paper roll holder was patented. And a lot of people went into very in-depth reasoning as to why they believed what they believed. But the winner was number 25, who was Amanda B. That's Amanda from Texas. So congratulations, Amanda. Amanda said definitely over. I don't want to be scraping my knuckles against the wall just to get some toilet paper. I hear ya. But not only that, you can never find it and you can't see where the start of the roll happens when it's coming from the back. Just saying. So congratulations, Amanda. If you would, please send me a direct message on Ravelry, Dramatic Knits, with your first and last name, mailing address, and email address so I can send you tracking, and I'll get these in the mail to you as soon as possible. All right, this is going to be a short one. Nice half hour. All right, center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. Just want to remind you, we do have craft nights every Wednesday from 5 to 8, as well as crafternoons every Saturday from 1 to 4. We have created a Facebook group called Leading Men Local Crafters, and that is a Facebook group for those in the relative area or those who want to be in the know-how, that we can post things for in-person events happening at the store or things you should know, whether it's store closures, things like that. So if you're on Facebook, you can search Leading Men Local Crafters. It is a private group, but you can find it and request access and we will approve you. So, all right, don't forget we have a Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group as well, and we always have 3 make-alongs going on in a concurrent session. So check out our make-alongs there. We have coupon codes good for yarn available to purchase for the make-alongs, as well as most of the make-alongs get a gift certificate to a winner at the end of the make-along. All right, let's talk about some new items to the shop. So first up, I've got this bag of goodies, but I wanted to show you. We have a ton of snarky tote bags that are a lot of fun. This one says emotional baggage. Just kidding, like it could fit in here. Preach, right? So there are tons of these in the shop. They're a huge seller to like our walk-in client base, people looking for gifts and things like that aren't always crafters. And then I wanted to show you, we have 1 or 2 of these left. We do get these in every month from Kelborn Woolens. This year they are doing the Year of Bulky Hats. So every month they choose one of their Germantown bulky colorways and they give you a nice bag, sticker, I think a little leather like thing you put on the brim of your hat. And here's the colorway for March. March's project is called Ivy Hill. And that's what that hat looks like. So we have 1 or 2 of these left. And then I know I just put in an order for April, so those will be going up on April 1st. I get about 5 of those a month. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry, but you get the nice card to tell you where to go, as well as the little accoutrement and the little project bag as well. All for $20. You can't beat that. All right, new in. I saw these on another podcast, and since we stocked Della Q, I decided to bring these in every color that they make, because that's how I roll. But these are the, it says maker's bags, but these are, where'd the lid go? Oh. Maker's Portfolio. There we go. It's not a bag. This one's in red, but these will be great for holding needles and notions and things of that nature. So it's got a nice handle on the side, a zip front on the front. And these are made out of wax canvas. You have places in the back you can store interchangeables. Up front, you have like a clear view pocket slouch and a snap, as well as some more storage. You open it up, you then have more needle storage over here you can put in there, as well as, just looking through this myself. Oh, you got a little thing of graph paper. You have stickers to put on all these little pouches to put your needles in or your cords in. It comes with a darning needle, as you always get with them. And it's got tons of little sheathed pouches in here that you can put needles and things in. So if you're looking for a needle organization solution, this might be it. It's compact and yeah, it might be worth trying out. These are $75, and as always in our shop, anything over $20 ships for free. And these, in fact, come in a nice box that can be gifted. So check those out. I'll have those linked in our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. And then we have the newest issue of Pom Pom magazine, which is called Dreamscape. This is number 40. And these are 1850. Lots of mohair in this issue. And I'll just do a quick flip through of here. Effervescent. Maybe I'll do a quick flip through. Cloud bow, this looks interesting. Reverie, this looks like there's socks. I don't think there's mohair in that though. Nereides. Plumatus. Oniro. Lots of names I cannot say. Seraform. These look like they have mohair on them. Althea. And Flotty. Lenora. And that's it for the patterns. And then, of course, all the actual patterns themselves. So you can check that out under the books section or patterns, either one. And last but not least, because I have been cross-stitching now for a while, I have been bringing in cross-stitch patterns as well as hand-dyed fabrics. Hopefully soon we'll have some floss and things of that nature. We need to find more room in the store. We need to find a new store. We did have a meeting with somebody. Not a realtor, but somebody who works with businesses in order to help them grow and expand for the community. So fingers crossed they got to know a little bit about our business and see our current space. But anyway, one of the pattern designers, cross-stitch pattern designers that we carry is Lindy Stitches, and she's out of Indiana, and I just got some of her new releases in. This one's called Wandering Sheep, so I thought you all would enjoy that. This is 147 wide by 116 high stitch count. on a 32 count linen or 16 count Aida. It's about 9.2 inches by 7.2 inches. So there's that. You can check that out under the cross stitch section of the website. And last but not least, let's talk about our upcoming event this weekend. We will be back in Iowa in Winterset for Fiberpalooza. This is at the Winterset Middle School, and it's our second year returning for this event. So we should be in the same location as we were last year if you were there. And it's a great event. There's some new vendors. There's more vendors that there were last year. I'm excited to go. It is a one-day event this Saturday, March 26th from, I believe, 9 to 4 sounds about right. I didn't write down the hours, but I will have that linked in the show notes as well. So if you can make it out, we'd love to see you. If not, hopefully we'll see you at one of our future events. And I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, you can find the show notes at dramaticknits.com. We'd love it if you'd join the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group as well as the Leading Men Fiber Arts Ravelry group. And you can follow our Leading Men Fiber Arts page on Facebook as well as join the local crafters group if you are local. And follow us on Instagram if you're not already doing so. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the YouTube video down below. And as always, I would love a subscribe or a thumbs up, but that's up to you completely. And until I see you in a couple of weeks when I hopefully have that baby blanket done, I hope you make something dramatic.